Hello and welcome to another Final Fantasy XIV video with me, Meoni. This time I wanted to take a look at how the Magia board works inside Eureka. This seems like a basic idea for a video, but it amazes me how many people ask for this exact video type. And as such, here's a rundown on how the Magia board works inside the Forbidden Land of Eureka. The Magia board then is something you unlock once you complete the first couple of quests within the starting area when you first port into the Eureka instance from Kugane. The board itself is a usable tool to change how much damage you do to a target inside Eureka and also how much damage you take from that monster. The first thing you get given is a piece of Magicite. Think of this as a gem that you can place into a slot in the Magia board. To meld Magicite, you need to come over to this contraption, the Magia Melder. You'll see once you click on this a ring of elements with lines stretching from the elements outwards. The Magicite you get from the first quest and subsequent quests after that can be placed anywhere in these slots. If we place our Magicite into the water slot, for example, and then we hit confirm, you will now see on the Magia board that there is 1 point in the water affinity. This will reduce damage taken from water monsters and at the same time make you do extra damage to monsters weak to water, such as fire monsters. It's important to note that the point that you place here is not fixed to just water. You can click on the Magia board itself and then press either left click or right click to spin the Magia board clockwise or counterclockwise in order to put that point into a different element. So when it comes down to putting points into the melder, you shouldn't worry too much about fixed elements, but rather when you get 2 or more of them where you want them to be in the most useful situations. All of the Magicite can actually be removed at any time, so you can rearrange them. You can straight up go full on one element if you wish, and this is actually advised for tanks early on due to the amount of damage they would usually take. Elemental affinity affects a reduction of damage much more than it does in scaling with damage done with that element. There are situations, however, where a monster may be water affinity, and obviously lightning would be a good choice to counter it. But it may hit really hard unless you have water affinity too with another Magicite point. In this regard, you need to try and plan out a strategy for the later levels and monsters inside Eureka to best prepare for certain hard-hitting monsters, which all scale very quickly and rather painfully inside here. Spinning the board, I must mention, has a cooldown once you use your spin, but only counts when you land on an element for a time until the timer runs out, and then you use one of these spin attempts. These replenish over time to prevent you spamming the board and can even be fully restored by clicking back on the Magia Melder back in town. There is no real reason you would ever really run out of spins though, but if you did, you can just wait until it replenishes in a few seconds or return to town to refresh it. The Magia board itself will actually show you the element strongest against a targeted monster by showing you an arrow towards that element, making identifying the correct solution to a monster quite easy. And that pretty much sums up the Magia board. If you see a fire monster, spin the board to water element to do more damage to that monster. If you wanted to instead take less damage from that fire monster, you would simply spin it to fire, where you would absorb more damage from that monster. This has been a basic look at the Magia board, and the complications will indeed come in later levels, but this is what you need to know to get started at the very basics. Happy hunting, and I'll see you all next time.